Komið þið sæl dömur mínar og herrar og hæstvirtur forseti Björgvin Jóhannesson og Heilbrigðisráðherra Íslands Willum Þór Þórsson. Velkomin á ráðstefnuna Preventive Health Care Public Health in the Nordics. Ég kynni mig á íslensku því ég lærði íslensku hratt með lausnum sem urðu til vegna áherslna Íslands á máltækni.
I am a neuro-avatar. You are probably wondering, what is a neuro-avatar, and am I real? Yes, I am a real person, scanned and digitized. I can be dynamically changed to fit the individual needs of my counterpart. I could look exactly like you. Every person is different due to the biology of their brain and communicates and processes information in their own way. We can make these differences measurable and thus make communication with the other person personalized and need-centered. In doing so, I automatically adjust my use of language, speaking rate, gestures, facial expressions, emotionality, tonality of voice, and even my appearance. Iceland, with such an advanced healthcare data and infrastructure, is perfect for pilot studies in the healthcare sector. Meet the future of healthcare management for healthcare research, planning, and predictive analytics. Neuro-avatars can help your health system to increase efficiency, communicate more effectively, and enable patients and doctors to ensure the optimal care for everyone. We can be a virtual nurse reminding patients of their daily medication routine, assist administration in hospitals, and train employees on medical compliance. Data, technology, and AI can transform healthcare. Neuro-avatars can play an integral role there.
Og við getum talað íslensku.
Hello. When I was preparing for this talk, sitting in my home office last week, my 12-year-old came into the room and asked me what I was doing. I told him I was preparing a talk at a conference on healthcare. And he was like, why are they asking you to do that? I was a little bit puzzled and said, I just think I have something interesting to say. And he was like, no, not really. They just don't bother to take time to do this themselves. So we started here with this avatar, and it was speaking English and some not so perfect Icelandic. But the thing is that this avatar learned Icelandic yesterday, and it did learn this in one day. It's definitely not perfect, but this is built on the foundations that we built through government investment in language technology. So we built something as a whole that everybody can use in one day. Not perfect, but gives us a sign. So I asked myself, why have we succeeded on this? What was it that we did? So we came together with a common goal and a completely unified vision of the government to preserve our language in the digital world. And I've been pretty lucky to be slightly involved in this effort by the government. I went on this presidential delegation spring of 22, where we visited the tech companies in the US, trying to convince them that we had something that they could use to make Icelandic language more accessible in their platforms. And it was pretty interesting. We sat down with the CEO of a small company in the Mission District in San Francisco, Sam Altman, and said, we have this, you should use it. And they kind of got the idea and were interested that use Icelandic language as a pilot for a language that had built some infrastructure to make it kind of a fast leeway into their solutions. And a couple of months later, a year later, this happened. So Icelandic became the first solution offered in the ChatGPT solution officially other than English. So Iceland, or Icelandic, was the second official language of GPT because of this government effort. And I think it's pretty interesting, and it shows the power that we have as somebody who can move quickly, be agile, and be smart. So everybody knows that this is something countries should do, but in complicated countries, in bigger markets than ours, it is pretty difficult. The idea is simple, but the execution and delivery is difficult. And with this success story in mind, we met with Clayton's partner at the WHO, Hans Kluge, the regional director. We further wanted to validate our hypothesis that we could do this in healthcare, to come together as a country, building something common. And, he got it. And he was extremely interested and highly supportive of our journey. And, I totally believe what Clayton said, that he's absolutely optimistic about the future of our system and our opportunities. And, why? Why is this important? So the sense of urgency is clear. We need to invest in healthcare data because the cost of system is constantly increasing. Our population is growing older, and the service expectations are greater by the year. So this is where technology comes into play. So we can easily think about the transformation power of technology in healthcare. I want to imagine us, and I think it's great to think about it pretty long term in the Icelandic context, as a pioneer in utilizing data and AI in healthcare, because we are small and we could become a role model for others and be helpful to the WHO to show what is possible when you move fast and quickly. Because everybody knows about the opportunities. It's easy to find proof points for the opportunity of technology. There are simple stuff like chatbots and elimination of repetitive tasks, medical health records, etc. We know all these cases, but there are also more complicated things and more innovative, like curing cancer with AI. And it's scary and interesting at the same time. So what should we do? And I think, to quote one recent expert on this, is that the opportunity is just so big that we can't really not look at it. So why? Why is this not moving as fast as we hoped for? Everyone sees the tech is coming, but we struggle. The opportunity is clear, and we struggle. But because the change is just so difficult, so how can we make the opportunity real? I think we all agree in this, we don't have to preach to the choir that the opportunities are there, but how do we change the system? So I think one of the root causes is that the healthcare system is built on the expertise of smart professionals. Dedicated professionals, not on the latest technology, infrastructure or regulation and policy that kind of drives this kind of transformation. And therefore we need a collective top-down effort. It's not something that experts can tell the leaders it is the right thing to do, because we kind of know we need to have a collective top-down effort. And our healthcare systems are complex, highly regulated, and kind of steeped in tradition. And we're lacking this infrastructure for change. So we must rebuild the backbone of innovation to truly harness the power of data and AI. And therefore, I'm pretty happy that our Minister of Health embarked on a very ambitious journey to create a more data-centric healthcare system. We have unique attributes to make this kind of transformation possible, or more likely to happen. I've been inspired by the minister and the long-term vision that is at the heart of all this thing, because we have the element that we can transform. We are a single-payer system, we are a small population, we have strong experts, and we are pretty tech-savvy. We know the Digital Iceland story and all these changes, and And so if we can't do it, few people could. But we need this leadership and tone from the top. So what we are planning to do, we're planning to integrate data from various sources. We're laying the ground for a comprehensive understanding of the healthcare system by connecting better. And it's not something really complicated, but the complication are really in the policy, in the culture, in the structure of how we have done things and how we need to do things in a data-driven world. So the data world is calling for a change, and the devil is in the detail. So what is it that we really, really need to do? We need to take data protection and privacy extremely seriously. We need to think about the use of data beyond the narrow aim it was originally designed for, and the regulation needs to do that as well. So there are a lot of things that need to change, and Clayton mentioned it earlier. It's more like a cultural thing than a technological thing. Because the technology is out there, and it's been there for quite some time, but the change is not happening at the rate that we expected or hoped for. So data and technology culture of healthcare industry is at the core of the change. So where are we heading? We're trying to achieve a centralized healthcare data repository of Iceland. We're transforming the data structure of the Icelandic healthcare system, or at the start of it, by building this repository. Looking ahead, we will have a single source of truth that empowers decision-making and enhances scenario planning. We can use the real data to do the real stuff. We will have the greater predictive capabilities and analytic capabilities, and the option of aligning resources better with needs. But it's always the data and good data at the heart. In the end, we have a more efficient healthcare system. Because if you're building something on insufficient data, and the previous speakers have mentioned this quite a bit, we will not deliver this advantage. So we need to build the foundations first. The quality data will be king. We can't cut any corners. We need to lay the ground before we deliver the change. So we have to be hopeful, go fast, but we also need to go a bit slow. I'm looking at Christian if he's worried, but I think it's okay so far. I think this journey of the minister is quite brilliant. And if we don't give up and execute this well, we could build something special, something that the WHO, OECD, and everyone else can look at as a role model going forward. But this is difficult, and it's definitely more a marathon than a sprint. We can't start drawing conclusions on incomplete data, because that's not going to help us at all. We need to collect the data and address the regulatory and policy hurdles before we build big systems with big ambitions. But the opportunities for Iceland are boundless. I'm very happy that we're heading into this direction, and together we can build a system that does not only meet today's needs, but anticipates tomorrow's challenges and opportunities. Thanks so much.